Looks like the U.S. Security Council has agreed upon the ceasefire resolution proposed by Biden, with both Israel and Hamas leaders being open to the proposal, which could see the end of the war in Gaza.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken landed in Jordan today after meeting with the families of hostages taken by Hamas during the October 7th attack in southern Israel. And this comes as the UN Security Council voted to overwhelmingly support a three-phase ceasefire proposal outlined by President Biden. It aims to bring the months-long conflict to an end. Hamas said it welcomed the move, something Secretary Blinken called, quote, a hopeful sign. So for the latest on these developments in the Middle East, let's go to John Donison with our partners at the BBC. So this seems like it's a positive shift. Secretary of State Blinken is back in the region. What's on his agenda this time around?
Well, he's back in the region for the 8th time since the war broke out between Israel and Hamas. And on the agenda this time is pushing for that ceasefire deal to come through. But the deal is not there yet, I don't think. And although we have had comments from Hamas today, Hamas leaders outside of Gaza, saying they welcome this UN Security Council resolution, they did so saying there were caveats. They still want a complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, and they still want a permanent ceasefire. And frankly, those are two things that the Israeli government has not signed up to. Those are two things that if the government did sign up to, it could possibly bring the government of the coalition of Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, down.
I want to pivot back to the UN Security Council sort of accepting this ceasefire. Now, I know we're calling it a U.S.-backed plan, but there was some reporting that at least behind the scenes, the Israeli government was also in favor of the plan. But as you point out, Hamas, despite the kind of positive words, wants some key changes made. But with the Security Council backing the plan, then what happens? How do things move forward? What does this mean to have the UN be supportive?
Well, I think Mr. Blinken sees this as a very positive step. And you have to remember that when Joe Biden announced this plan a few weeks ago, he said that it was an Israeli plan and one that they had put on the table. Now, that didn't really match with what Benjamin Netanyahu had to say immediately afterwards. He called it a non-starter. So it's quite difficult to reconcile how they're going to get this deal done when you've got crucially, we've not heard from the Hamas leaders inside Gaza, the leader of Hamas there, Yahya Sinwar. And, you know, we haven't had either side say publicly that they're prepared to